Hello, great people. You might think 2027 is far away, but to the politicians in Nigeria, 2027 is just like the next hour. And that's why they've been strategizing and permutating. They've been aligning and realigning. As Peter Obi of the Labour Party and Atiku Abubakar of the PDP, both presidential candidates in the last presidential election in Nigeria, shares breakfast and strategize win for 2027. In this video, I'll be sharing with you in a moment a clip of where they are sharing breakfast, and after that we will come back to look at the permutation for 2027. Let us look at the Obi Atiku alliance. Is it possible? Is it realistic? What is the positive and negative implication of that alliance on Atiku Abubakar and Peter Obi himself? What is the possibility of that alliance to unseat President Bola Tinubu in 2027? We will also be looking at the Wike factor. What is the Wike factor? And I think I have a definition for the Wike factor, and I will be sharing that with you after we come back watching the video of the breakfast between Atiku Abubakar and Peter Obi. Let's watch the video. Let's watch it.
Okay. You're welcome. Morning, ladies and gentlemen. Your Excellency, morning. Good morning, sir. Why are you sitting down there?
He chooses to say, I'm trying to believe.
What is
There you have it. One thing I observe in that video is that, first thing, Atiku Abubakar and Peter Obi, despite the fact that they are in the opposition party, have been able to share a cordial relationship. They've been able to maintain this mutual respect for each other. But what I observe as a political scientist is that they have to have a cordial relationship because they are both looking for the same thing. Atiku Abubakar is in the opposition party. Peter Obi is in the opposition party. If Peter Obi had won the election, or Atiku Abubakar had won the election, the probability that both of them will be best of friends will be very less, because as at that time, Atiku will be wanting what Peter Obi has as the president, or Peter Obi will be wanting what Atiku Abubakar has as president. So if Tinubu had lost the election, it won't be strange that right now it will be Atiku Abubakar and Peter Obi that will be aligning, or Atiku Abubakar or Tinubu and Peter Obi that will be aligning against Atiku Abubakar. But then that they've even been able to maintain cordial relationship, I think it is commendable. But there is one thing that I observe in the relationship of Atiku Abubakar and Peter Obi. You see, for Peter Obi to go all the way to Anambra, it is not because he hasn't eaten or because he can't afford to eat. No, there is more to it. But what the media will report is they have breakfast. That is what they would want you to know. I'm not in their meeting, but I can tell you as a political scientist that during the breakfast or after the breakfast, there are going to be very deep talks about 2027. And also, there would have been an assessment of the Tinubu presidency. They would have sat down and analyzed the Tinubu presidency and the opportunity for them to wrestle power in 2027 based on the abysmal performance of Bola Tinubu. But one thing that I can tell Peter Obi is that, you see, Atiku Abubakar is a very, very strategic guy. And if Atiku Abubakar is going to give up his ambition, definitely he won't give it up easily. And Atiku Abubakar would have started his political permutation by now. And he will be reading the handwriting on the wall. If he says that coast is clear and is able to win over major political stakeholders to his side, then Atiku Abubakar will give it a shot again, because Atiku Abubakar has never gotten tired of contesting election in Nigeria. He has been contesting, some of you don't know, since the days of MKO Abiola in 1993. Atiku Abubakar has been interested in becoming the president of this country. So for such a person, that it is a decades-old ambition, you won't expect that such a man will just give up such ambition for anything. And when is the right time for Atiku to start aligning? It is right now in 2025, because in 2024 rather, because 2025 is a year of strong political alignment. 2026, especially the second quarter of 2026, political permutations will commence till 2027. So this is the best time for Atiku or Obi to align or realign. But the truth is that I see a situation whereby Atiku will be wanting to align with Obi as regards 2027. Maybe he can convince Obi to be his deputy. You know that naturally Atiku Abubakar cannot be deputy president again, because he has served as deputy president from 1999 to 2007, which is 8 years and several years ago. So it will be logical of him to be the vice president. So he may be considering how he can convince Obi so that they can replay their ticket again, whereby Obi will be the deputy, because that would be great political capital for Atiku Abubakar. But I have an advice, a free political consultancy for Peter Obi. If he dare agrees to deputize Atiku Abubakar, his political career is finished. Because one, he will lose his organic political support base. Peter Obi did not beg for the support that he had in 2023 election. The support came organically, and I've seen people, both Hausa, Yoruba, Igbo, Ijo, Ibibio, Edo, that they said that they just believed that Obi was the best choice, and that was why they voted for him. But now, if he agrees to deputize Atiku Abubakar, then his political career will just dwindle, because the support of those people that thinks that he's the best man for the job, he will lose that support, because he's not the best man as the vice president. He is the second best man, if I can use that word. Yes, he's the second best man. So he will lose his strong organic support that he has. So what I see that can work, if Atiku Abubakar would not be selfish, is that Atiku Abubakar should concede to Peter Obi. He should use his political capital, his political network, to back Peter Obi, because the sentiment that power should remain in the South remains. So if Atiku Abubakar uses his political network to back Peter Obi, that would tremendously increase the vote of Peter Obi. And if we look at the permutation of the last election, if you had the vote of Atiku Abubakar and add it to Peter Obi, it naturally supersedes the vote of Bola Tinubu. And if you look at the performance of Bola Tinubu today, one can argue that if there's an election conducted right now as I'm speaking, one can argue that Bola Tinubu will have less votes than he has in 2023, because some of the people that believed in him, that believed in his capacity, some of them are even in severe economic pain right now. So what it means is that Bola Tinubu's performance is a political gain for Peter Obi. But you want to ask yourself that what would now there be in it for Atiku Abubakar if he is to back out of the race and give Peter Obi the full backing that Peter Obi needs? Well, Obi must be willing to do something, and which is to also concede something to Atiku Abubakar. So Obi can decide to concede the vice presidential slot to Atiku, that, okay, Atiku Abubakar, bring anybody you like, bring anybody you want to occupy the vice president position. Maybe that can be a reasonable consolation for Atiku Abubakar, and he may decide to support Peter Obi. But right now, I think Atiku Abubakar is a very smart guy, and he has strong political network, arguably than Peter Obi. So he will be trying to work on the mind of Peter Obi to see whether they can form an alliance, and definitely he would want to be the utmost beneficiary of that alliance. But another reason why Peter Obi cannot afford to be the vice president to Atiku Abubakar is that Obi only has 2027 as his most bright chance. That is the chance or the opportunity that Obi has, because by 2031, the sentiment would naturally go back to the North, and the North will naturally be yearning for power. You know, the North, they don't waste time when it comes to their turn. They will go all out for it. And by that time, if the North grabs power in 2031, they will apparently hold on to that power till 2039. And by that time, Obi would have become an old guy. And new political superstars may have also emerged. So if you look at it very carefully, the only bright opportunity, the best opportunity that Obi has to ever lead this country would be in 2027. If he missed that opportunity, that is the end, apparently. So Obi has to go all out and get his permutations right, else it will just be out of the game. Now, let us talk about the Wike factor. Right, to me, right now, I don't think Wike is of any significant factor. So if you are talking to me about Wike factor, I will define the Wike factor as the violence factor. Three things: the crisis factor and the rigging factor. I think that Nyesom Wike does not have much political value like that, in the true sense of it, based on some of the things that he has been doing. Wike was a presidential aspirant in the PDP, but he has largely been acting on presidential. So if you put Wike on a ballot today for president, I can tell you that you are sure most likely to lose the election. But then Wike remains a factor, and the factor is largely the crisis factor. If Wike remains in your party and is busy causing trouble left, right, and center, the way he's causing it now, definitely that party may eventually lose that election, because Wike seems to be a master strategist in causing crisis. Another thing is the violence factor. You can see that from evidence abound that the 2023 election, Peter Obi won in Rivers State, but because Wike and his boys have the superior violence, they were able to overturn the election in favor of President Bola Tinubu. So when you look at Wike, you can say, oh, Wike is a factor when it comes to violence, and you can't overrule the role of violence in Nigerian election. Also, the Wike factor, the third one, is the rigging factor, because look at how the election was rigged against Peter Obi in 2023 presidential election. So Wike is not a factor if Nigeria were to be a sane country, if Nigeria were to have a credible electoral system. But factoring in the reality of Nigeria, Wike is a factor if you consider violence, crisis, and rigging. 2027 seems to be far away. That's to you. But to the politicians, the game has already started. And you can't rule out President Bola Tinubu's tolerance of Nyesom Wike as a strategy for 2027 as well. Because Nyesom Wike, the crisis is causing in Rivers State, the way he shoved aside the Prime Minister of India, and so many things that have been happening, you would agree with me that no president would like to tolerate that. In fact, there was a time that Wike was even more popular in the media than the president himself. But then the President Bola Tinubu has tolerated Wike. This is to an end, and the end is 2027. What I can say is that Nigeria, open your eyes and may the best man win. And like I used to say, you already know the president in 2027, because whoever will be the president is not different from all these guys that you already know. It will either be Atiku or Peter Obi or Rabiu Kwakwanso or President Bola Tinubu. So you need to look at these guys very well, and at the end of the day, may the best man win. May the man that have the interest of Nigeria at heart, that will bring great things to Nigeria, may that person win. It's been an interesting time with you on this episode of Politing with Dr. Omoshola Deji. Dr. Deji is a political scientist with a PhD in political science, and this is where we relax to analyze politics and happenings in the polity. Do want to subscribe, turn on your notification button, catch up with my past videos, and of course, I have great, interesting videos coming your way. Till I see you again, always remember that I love you all sincerely.